Thank you, David, for the introduction. I will start my presentation. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vihanga Amarakoon from Griffith University, Australia. Today I will be presenting a part of my PhD research project about understanding the policy-related drivers of workplace stress among local level government disaster officers in Sri Lanka, which is where I'm from. So moving on to the introduction. What is workplace stress? So workplace stress, in brief, it is the reaction you experience when the workload exceeds your potential, your capabilities. So that is that unpleasant experience you have. So why should we study about workplace stress? What is the importance of it? So basically, workplace stress impacts all your aspects of health, physical, mental, and social. So for physical health, when it comes to physical health, workplace stress is causing the deadliest diseases of the 21st century. Could be the reason behind, like the cardiovascular diseases and hypertension and stroke. So we see most of the younger population, like the working population, dying from these kinds of diseases at the moment. So workplace stress could be one of the main reasons behind these deaths. And when it comes to the mental health, yes, obviously anxiety, depression, absenteeism, these kinds of issues. And social health is also impacted. The disruption of personal relationships, isolation, exhaustion, and emotional strain. So all these could result from workplace stress. So what is the latest situation about work stress at the global level? So according to the State of the Global Workplace 2024 report, nearly 41% of the total global working population is experiencing work stress. So it is nearly half of the working population is stressed on a daily basis in their workplaces. So you can see what kind of a serious mental health challenge work stress is at the moment. And these reports give further details about region-wise and country-wise data. So there is one specific data that catch my eye. So basically, when it comes to South Asia, there is one small island nation in the Indian Ocean, which is known as the Pearl of the Indian Ocean, still with the highest level of workplace stress in South Asia. So in Sri Lanka, 62% of the total working population is experiencing stress. It is more than the number in India. India has the largest population in the world. Still, Sri Lanka is experiencing the higher levels of workplace stress. And yesterday I saw that Sri Lanka has downgraded to a position with, being an unhappiest country in the world. Could be workplace stress, could be a reason behind this. So within Sri Lanka, there are several occupations, several workforces which are important. And among them, disaster workforce is one of the most important workforces because Sri Lanka is known to be one of the most disaster-prone nations in the world. I think we witnessed it last year in November 2025 with the cyclone Ditwa. Nearly $4 billion damage was caused for infrastructure, and we lost so many human lives, which could have been prevented in some way, but we lost the ability for that. So with all these climate-related hazards impacting Sri Lanka, we can see the disaster proneness of the country. And in this phase of disasters, the disaster workforce is playing an important role in ensuring the safety and the well-being of the affected communities. So what is the composition of the disaster workforce of Sri Lanka? So according to disaster legislations, the healthcare personnel, which includes doctors, nurses, and etc., and the military personnel like Army, Navy, Air Force, and police. And finally, the specific group of workers, the government officers in charge of disaster management at national and local level. So these are not the usual superheroes you see in the television or in social media. They are not, they do not wear capes at all. They are the behind the screen disaster coordinators, which we do not usually see. So why these workers are important, why these officers are important, and why their stress is important? Because they are the disaster managers of the country. They coordinate with the other groups of the disaster workforce, and they arrange all these, they participate in all the stages of the disaster management cycle. However, their contributions are far less considered within scholarly literature as well as within grey literature. And these officers operate at two levels, at local level and national level, obviously. The national level officers are the ones who prepare policies, they strategize, but the local level officers, very specific. So they deal with all the affected communities at the local level. And they also have to deal with the national level officers, the policymakers. So they are sort of like sandwiched between these two groups. And they also have to coordinate with other disaster workforce groups as well. So dealing with already strained disaster affected communities increase their stress levels in a cycle. So therefore, these groups of officers are needed to be considered within literature and within research. Therefore, this study aimed to investigate the workplace stress faced by these local level government disaster officers in Sri Lanka. So what is the current status of the literature about these officers? Only two preliminary studies exist at the moment. In these two studies, actually, the researchers discuss about the individual work problems experienced by these local level officers. However, problems do not occur at do not start at individual level. They always have a policy and a systemic approach. Therefore, if we are to address these issues in a more productive way, the policy level or the systemic level approach has to be taken. Therefore, there's a significant gap in understanding the systemic and policy-related drivers of workplace stress, what is causing stress actually. Therefore, this research aimed to study about or identify the policy-related stresses of this workforce that causing stress among them, and also it proposes and suggests recommendations for addressing these policy-related drivers. So the methodology, the study area is Sri Lanka, and within Sri Lanka, I selected one of the most disaster-prone districts, Ratnapura district, which annually experiences floods and landslides on a heavy basis. And the study group is the local level government disaster officers who operate at district, divisional, and village level. And I selected the officers from most disaster-prone 6 divisions within the Ratnapura district. So they have the knowledge and the experience to participate within this research. And the research design. So I conducted the study in 2 phases. In the first phase, the policy-related stresses that lead to workplace stress among these officers were identified, and the officers at district, divisional, and village level participated. And they participated in 6 workshops and 11 interviews. And the first phase of data collection, after the first phase of data collection, the data went through initial thematic analysis using Brown and Clark's reflective thematic analysis method, and I used NVivo for the research. And then after the initial thematic analysis, I generated themes which introduced or which kind of discovered the policy-related stresses that lead to workplace stress among these officers. In phase 2, I presented these themes into a selected group of the officers who were willing to participate in the second phase from the previous stage. And I divided them into 2 focus groups. So they recognized and they proposed solutions and recommendations to address the policy-related drivers of workplace stress they identified themselves. So the final outcome was the policy-related solutions and recommendations to address workplace stress drivers. So these are the basic preliminary results. So they identified 6 themes related to policy-related drivers. So I will go through them very shortly. So the first theme was about the poor communication of disaster legislations to the ground level. So because of the lack of digital devices among some of these officers, the soft copies sent to them are not received properly. So they do not know very well about what is being conducted at the national level. And also, therefore, as a solution, what they suggested was assigning more funds to provide hard copies. This may sound a bit old-fashioned. Someone can say, why don't you give them a mobile phone or a laptop so they can access it? But this is sort of like a workplace cultural thing, because these solutions has to be culturally appropriate as well, because these officers are more used to have a hard copy or a printed copy in their hand. Therefore, they suggested, why don't you assign more funds to provide a hard copy to us? It will be easier for us. So that is their solution. And then the second problem or the second stress driver they encountered was one of the main things that most of the current disaster management legislations do not match the ground level realities because they are prepared by the national level officers. The national level officers are not very well aware of what is happening at the ground level. So what they suggested was, yes, bottom to top drafting. Why don't you include our recommendations? Why don't you ask from us? So incorporating ground level feedback into the disaster policies was important. And number three, the conflicting disaster management laws, because most of these laws, although written in the native language, are very, very confusing because they use more higher level terms, more professional terms, which is confusing for the officers to understand. So therefore, the officers suggested, why don't we write that in more simpler language so that more of the officers can understand it, that for the broader comprehension and uniformity in understanding. And then one of the main issues, the old government laws, the colonial period laws in Sri Lanka are still in English. For some reason, they have not been translated professionally into the native languages. So therefore, these officers who are not well versed in English cannot understand them properly, which leads into even legal consequences. Therefore, they suggested translating them into their native languages of Sri Lanka professionally, so they can reference them in a more professional way. And also, these colonial period laws have to be amended to suit the current administrative structure. And then the last policy level driver, the lengthy bureaucratic procedures, that most of the procedures associated with the disaster response are very lengthy, have to go through a lot of paperwork, documentation. So the officers suggested digitalization of these government procedures and also making them accessible to people and officers. So highlights of these preliminary findings and some of like the key factors I found about them. So the limited access to the digital devices could interfere in the digitalization of the procedures. So this is something that the national level and the policymakers have to consider, that of course digitalization of the procedures are important, but again making them accessible to the officers is also important. It's a balance between them. And also converting these colonial period ordinances into the current parliamentary approved acts which suits the current administrative system is important. And also for most of the policy level drivers, bottom to top drafting is important, that most of the policy level issues can be solved when the ground level realities, ground level feedback is incorporated successfully. So the officers can implement them at the ground level without any hesitation. So these are the preliminary findings of my PhD research at the moment, and it is going a bit far as well. So further analysis will be taken up and more solutions will be generated. But the policy related drivers will be the most important stressors during my study because they are the ones that actually cause most of the stress for these officers. So these are the preliminary findings, and I would like to acknowledge Griffith University for the funding my research and my supervisors, my family and colleagues, and also especially I would like to mention the support given by the study participants, district, divisional, and village level government officers of Ratnapura district of Sri Lanka in charge of disaster management for voluntarily participating in the research. So here are the references. Thank you very much.